Hello, Alice. How are you? Great to see you again.
Hi, Ryan. Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent. You're more than welcome. So I'm really excited, as you know, about what we're trying to do together and all the work that you do and how we can, make a positive impact, hopefully, on so many people. So part of this interview series that we're doing, really delighted to have you on and share more about yourself and more about Ripple and tell our kind of audience all the great stuff that you're involved with. So to kick things off, Alice, can you just tell me and the people listening a little bit about yourself and a little bit about Ripple?
Yeah, sure. So I work in cybersecurity. So I've been working in that field now for about a decade. Worked for banks, insurers, consultancies all over the world. So that's really my bread and butter. In terms of what Ripple is, it's a charity that I set up about a year and a half ago now, and it's a mental health and suicide prevention charity. And I set this charity up in memory of my brother Josh, who was my only sibling and very sadly decided to take his own life in November of 2020 at the age of 21. It doesn't get any easier for me to talk about. It's still extremely raw. It is something that I personally now struggle with on a daily basis, coming to terms with it. In terms of Ripple and actually what it is as a product, it's a piece of technology, a browser extension. It can be downloaded on your browser of choice, so Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, Opera. And once downloaded, it means that if somebody was to go online and conduct a harmful online search to do with the topic of suicide or self-harm, then Ripple would intercept that search and instead signpost that person to a selection of mental health resources that they can access both now and in the longer term. It can also be deployed through Wi-Fi networks as well. And there's a number of companies that we're working with to make that happen and protect and safeguard as many people as possible.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. And obviously I know your story and I know all of this, but thanks for sharing as well. I think it's really important to get the story out. I know it's been widely spread already, but there's more people that we need to get this to and more people to help. So thanks for sharing for that. So Alice, tell me a little bit more about the inspiration behind Ripple and again, as much as you want to share, Josh's story and what happened.
Sure. So I mentioned earlier, didn't I, that I work in cybersecurity, and actually I'm very grateful for that because it did enable me to look into Josh's devices after he'd passed away. So his mobile phone, his laptop, his tablet, really in a way, Ryan, to try and desperately find out what was going on in Josh's life that was so bad that he believed this was his best option. And there was no other support available for him. And when I went through his devices online, I saw that he had been carrying out some really harmful online searches to do really with how to end his life. And it angered me to then go through those searches and see that he was provided with tips, encouragement, even pain scales for each method of suicide to help him make a decision on what was best. And it just got me thinking, why does nothing intercept people out there that are searching for this harmful content to let them know that they are loved, there is hope, and actually there's lots of amazing resources and support services that they can use. So it was there really that I came up with the whole idea of Ripple, and it does exactly that. It intercepts anybody at their most vulnerable point when they're searching online for stuff to do with this topic, and instead tells them that there's a different option, different route.
Brilliant. Thank you, Alice. Tell me and the audience, Alice, maybe a little bit about the companies and the organisations you're already working with and are already on board, so some of the others can take note and listen and also jump on board as well.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing for me to say here is that Ripple is completely free for schools, colleges, universities, parents, and charities everywhere. and it will remain free. So it's a free resource for them to download in an attempt really to safeguard their students and young people, and indeed staff in some ways. From a business perspective, the organizations that we work with, I often have to kind of pinch myself, to be honest. This is something that I thought of in my bedroom. And now I'm working with, companies that would just have been a dream, to be honest. The main one for me, which I'm sure you will smile about, is my club, Josh's club, West Ham.
Yeah.
So a really surreal moment, that's where Josh and I used to go and watch the games together. I had a season ticket for years. Massive fan. I've even got a tattoo of them. So die-hard fan. So for them to have got behind what I'm doing and safeguard their academy players, their staff, their fans in this way is a really special one. But other companies that we work with include Save the Children charity, EDF, the gas and energy supplier, lots of insurance companies such as Lockton, QBE. We've got Leeds Building Society. Even Manchester Airport have deployed Ripple on their Wi-Fi network at the airport as well. So just amazing, and that number is growing every day. And from my perspective, I believe this solution should be on every single laptop everywhere.
Brilliant. Just a quick one on that. Wi-Fi networks then.
Yeah.
Any organization that offers a free, connects to the Wi-Fi, that can happen as well, right? So there could be clients.
Yeah, exactly that. So as an example, if we are talking about a railway station or a hotel, they have Wi-Fi networks. We're able to put Ripple on their Wi-Fi network. So that means that if I'm in a hotel or if I'm at that railway station and I'm on the Wi-Fi and I was to search for something really harmful to do with self-harm or suicide, then Ripple would intercept me when I've made that search and instead tell me that there is hope and signpost me to some support resources. So there's a couple of ways that we can deploy this tool, and it really depends on the company as to which way they choose. But both of them, although they might sound technologically difficult, are actually very, very simple and quick to do.
Brilliant. I didn't know that. I've learned that. So that opens up a whole new number of contacts I might have that I'll be sharing this with. So brilliant.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. So tell me a little bit more, Alice, about financial well-being, why you think that's so important, especially right now, and possibly a bit more about elements of that with Josh's story as well.
Yeah, to be quite frank, the link between financial well-being and self-harm and suicidal ideation is absolutely huge. From my own personal experience, having lost my brother, I found out after that fateful night that he was in a significant amount of debt. He had IVAs. He was purchasing way above his means. He was gambling, spending money on things that he shouldn't, which as a result meant that he couldn't afford things he needed, such as food, petrol for his car, and so on. Now, I didn't know any of this. If I had known, and I wish every day that I had, and he told me, we might be in a different position. But I do truly believe that one of the main reasons that Josh decided to end his life was based on his financial difficulties that he found himself in at the age of 21. So the link is enormous, and that's why I'm so grateful, privileged to have partnered with Finwell, because the link is just huge.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It gets a bit emotional, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay, so tell me a little bit, Alice, about what's next. You've done some fantastic work already, working with great organisations, fantastic football clubs, the Hammers, Up the Irons, and others. There are other football clubs, we've got to say that, and all of them they all need to get on board. But tell me a little bit about what's coming up. You know, what's next? What are you passionate about? What other projects are you involved with?
So one of the things that I would like to do with Ripple, which we're currently working on at the moment, is expanding the reach of Ripple. So what I mean by that is, at the moment, our technology in the back end of it has about 35,000 words, phrases, questions to do with the topic of self-harm and suicide. And if Ripple is triggered by one of those keywords, it will then signpost that person to support services to do with self-harm and suicide. What we are now working on is expanding that to reach other issues, struggles, things that people are finding difficult to manage, such as gambling, such as alcohol abuse, such as drug abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence. And if any of those corresponding words are triggered, then Ripple would actually signpost to the relevant support services relating to that particular topic. From a Finwell perspective and financial link here, one of the things that I would really like to focus on is gambling, because again, there is a huge link between people who are struggling with gambling addictions and people who go on to unfortunately experience suicidal ideation. And I do include my brother in that again. So I've got, real life, sadly, experience of that. So that's one of the things that we're doing. We're also a very small family-run charity, right? So we've only been going a year and a half. We are desperately trying to raise awareness of what we're doing, particularly when it comes to the likes of schools, colleges, and universities and parents who have the opportunity to download this resource for free. And usually when they know about it and when they hear about it, it's a no-brainer for them. You know, why wouldn't they want to deploy this free resource to safeguard people? So that's where we're headed next.
Brilliant, brilliant. And as a parent, you know, of two young children, and you know, we all see the growing challenge around social media and online communication. This is so important. So anybody that's listening that can help in any way, I suppose, really, Alice, isn't it? It's if it's a company, they want to use the tool and speak to and get it on board, brilliant. But if it's a contact that's listening to this that might be able to help, just get it out there, raise awareness, give it a platform, interview you, share your story, whatever, then to get in touch with you or me or whatever, and we'll make it happen. So brilliant.
Yeah, exactly that. And by doing that, you know, you never know who you might be helping and supporting, because from experience, sadly, it is usually the life and soul of the party, the one that you would never think, that is the one that's struggling. So this is a safety net that you can put in place to manage that and hopefully tell them that there is a different route for them to go down and get support. Brilliant.
Okay, so to end, a couple of things I did want to speak to you about and share with whoever's watching this. Firstly, you might be a bit of a competitor now, it seems. We're going head to head, Alice, you know. We're all friends on camera, but we're up against each other. Do you want to just talk a little bit, firstly, about all the awards that you've been up for and won? You're going to have to get a bigger mantelpiece, I think, and then in particular, the one that we're going to, and hopefully we'll meet face to face for the first time at.
Yeah, sure. So we've been lucky enough now in just under 18 months to have actually won 24 awards in mental health, in suicide prevention, in tech for good, in innovation. And I guess, you know, just to be really clear, we don't do this for backslaps. However, these awards are significant for us in terms of raising awareness of what we're doing, because other organizations within our categories then become aware of us. They then share, you know, what we're doing with other people, and it results in a higher number of people deploying and downloading Ripple, which for us is what it's all about. We are meeting in person, which is a rarity, isn't it now, I think, post-COVID, at the Southeast Startup Awards on Thursday, the 1st of June. So we are in the same category. To be honest, I think if we win or if you win, I would see that as a success, because there's a hammer going up to collect the award.
A much needed bit of silverware or whatever
Exactly.
it is.
We don't see awards and cups very often, so we'll try and utilize that as one for the Irons, I think. But yeah, really looking forward to meeting you. My family are coming there. They're looking forward to meeting you as well, and I think we're going to exchange merch as well.
It's all about the branded merch, which we had a laugh about a little bit earlier, didn't we? So yeah, I will be bringing a Finwell, very hard to come by, exclusive Finwell hoodie for you.
Yeah,
so that'll be great. Yeah, really looking forward to
sported by you right now.
Yes.
So
yes,
yes,
yeah.
I would like, and in return I will provide you with a Ripple t-shirt.
Excellent.
So yeah, it'll be like exchanging shirts on the football field, right?
That'll be it. Mine won't be
Yeah.
very sweaty, no, so don't worry. It'll be not have been worn. It'll be a new one, all right, out of the packet.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Brilliant. And lastly, we can't have this chat, and I don't care who's listening, without talking a little bit about West Ham. And just tell me a little bit about your memories, and also obviously your favourite player that we spoke about before, because I've got a few connections with said person as well.
Yeah. So I'm from Portsmouth. So have followed Portsmouth all my life. They're not amazing, are they, at the moment, and they haven't been for quite some time, but I do still follow them, and my dad in particular is a big fan of Pompey. I moved to London from my small coastal village in my early 20s, quite a while ago now, and I lived next door pretty much to the Boleyn ground. And I do recall when I was living up there that I would rather go without some dinner if it meant that I could afford my ticket to go and watch West Ham.
Amazing. Yeah.
So sometimes that did happen, or I would have kind of beans on toast all week in order to have my ticket to go and watch the game. So
wow.
Followed them for a long time now. I've had a season ticket on my own for years. I used to take my brother with me to games as well. We've had some amazing last couple of seasons. This one, not so much. But we are, hopefully gonna get some form of success over the coming seasons with the squad that we've got. But yeah, I'm a massive fan, and that's why I said earlier, the fact that they've come on board with Ripple, they've enabled me to and allowed me to have the privilege of standing on the pitch and talking about my charity.
I've seen that video. Yeah,
it's
brilliant.
Just pinch me moment, really unbelievable. So I love them. I love them. And my favorite player in the current squad, I would say it's got to be Declan Rice. But in terms of the legends of the club, it's got to be Paolo Di Canio. And I think most Hammers would say the same, to be honest.
Yeah, brilliant. And my connection with that. So lucky enough to have played with West Ham from a young age of 9 right the way through as a schoolboy and as a YTS player, and then as a young professional. We was lucky enough to be part of a really great youth team that won the FA Youth Cup in '99. I believe we've still got the record that we won that against Coventry. Sorry, Coventry, but we won it 9-0 on aggregate live on Sky, and played at the Boleyn at Upton Park. So that was brilliant. And actually, I'm not sure if you're about, but West Ham are in the semi-final of the FA Youth Cup now, the current youth team. And if they get to the final, I'm desperate to try and go along to that. And I'll let you know, maybe we can get some tickets and meet up there as well. That'd be fantastic.
Would love to. Yeah, would love to go.
And the connection with Di Canio is, he's probably my favourite as well. I've got many favourites, but I was his boot boy as well. So it was the first pair of white boots I'd ever seen, and I was obviously met him being at the club and had to clean his boots, and he gave me this special Italian polish and a special Italian scrubber to do his boots. And oh my god, that was a privilege in itself, just to clean his boots. I
would clean his boots and his shoes now.
I'm sure maybe we would share that duty. But he was brilliant, and he honestly gave so much of his time to the young lads, and I've got many a story that I'll tell you maybe at the awards evening about him.
Yeah.
I probably can't share here, but what a character. And he loved his films. He was really into films. So we talked a lot about that. Dead Poet Society is his favourite, actually. So yeah,
Amazing.
good taste. But yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me, Alice. Look, we're going
Pleasure.
to do so much together. Let's see what impact we can have. So much good that can come out of this. But thank you as always. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.